It's time for Delivering Marketing Joy. This time we talk with Joe Haley of The Joe Show, and he gives us tips and best practices on how to create content like a media company. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and I am super excited to welcome a brand new guest to Delivering Marketing Joy, the host of The Joe Show, Joe Haley. He's with ASI. He's a product editor for all the magazines, and he's a corporate trainer there. So he wears a bunch of hats, and of course, many of you know him from The Joe Show. So, Joe, thanks so much for joining me.
Kirby, I'm happy to be here. Love this industry. Love talking about it.
Awesome. So let's jump right to The Joe Show. You've been recording The Joe Show for many years. I say you're a celebrity in our industry. And actually, just as a total side note, I was reading the book Brandscaping, and Brandscaping talks a lot. I was reading, I'm like, hey, I know that guy. He talks a lot about The Joe Show. So what are some lessons you've gained from doing that show?
Well, there's a couple. One of the things I learned is that distributors have an awesome job because it's such a great industry. It's so much fun. Like I said, we're not divorce lawyers. No one's trying to, cure cancer. You make people happy. So you get to use your creativity, and there's something always new to do. You never get in a rut. There's always a new challenge, a new client, a new campaign, a new promotion. So I learned that. I think, and I hope that I've learned how to think like a distributor. When I go into the Joe Show, when I see products, I don't see it as a coffee mug. I see it as something that is a new employee welcome gift. And what I mean by that, you hire a new employee, they go to HR, they sign all their papers, they get a coffee mug. Now they feel part of the team. They feel welcome. They feel like someone who belongs. So if you think of it as a coffee mug, I think that what happens is you're selling a commodity. But if you think of something that solves a problem or offers a solution, then I think you're thinking the right way. If we take that travel mug and it's a travel coffee mug, well, I see it as a loyalty program for a local cafe. You go in every morning, you get your large coffee, it costs you $2.50. We're going to fill it up in this travel mug. If you bring it back, we're going to charge you $1 for that. So now that cafe's got that repeat customer coming back, and maybe that customer says, you know what, I'm going to buy a bagel today, or I'm going to buy a breakfast burrito. So they're spending more money there. So it's a win-win for everyone. The distributor's done a great job for the cafe, and the cafe's very happy. But I've also learned that it can be daunting with products. There's so many different products. We go to trade shows, it's aisle upon aisle upon aisle of products, and you have to try and process them. How do I match this product to my current client base? Or if I want to prospect into a new market, how do I prospect? What products here are going to make a good either spec sample that I'm going to send them, or it's going to make a great self-promotion if I was a distributor to send them as well. But it's the creativity. I just absolutely think it's so much fun for the creativity. Remember in grade school, a lot of kids, your favorite topic was art. Why? Because there's usually no rules. And I went to a Catholic school for 8 years. And even the nuns want us to express our creativity with our art. And that's what we get to do here, or distributors get to do here in this industry. So those are some of the things I've learned. The other thing I learned that with the video is that you have to be genuine and you have to be who you are. And I think that really comes through. And when I always say, I appreciate that. And, so there's a lot of lessons in, doing this. And I've been doing it since 2007. So.
Yeah, that's impressive. And so that's great stuff, Joe. A lot of good lessons there, and solution-based selling, creating a joyful experience. That's a lot to take away there, and that's really good. So I want to shift gears a little bit. I say all the time, I speak all over, and I talk to clients, I talk to people in our industry, and I say, everyone today is a media company. Everyone is. We're a media company that also does promotional products. Now, as a member of a more traditional media, because you guys are doing magazines in a different way, how have you seen changes to how people storytell?
Okay, so it has changed a little bit. Time is money, right? And people are very busy. You're out there hustling, working with clients, prospecting, sending orders to suppliers. So you're busy. So what we found is that if we can deliver products or actually deliver articles in bite-sized chunks, something a little smaller. Infographics have really taken off in the past couple of years. We can do a market story that could be 6-8 pages long. It'd be very insightful, but we can also do that in infographic. Here's the market. Here's who's in the market. Here's the type of programs that they're running. Here's the type of promotional products that they've used in the past. And here are some ideas of how to break into that market. We can do that in infographics. People really like that too. They're taking that stuff and they're absorbing it. Then they can keep folders together for a specific market or for all new markets they want to do. But that doesn't mean that long, forms articles are, passe anymore. I mean, if you got a good story and it takes a couple pages to, tell that story, then it's good. But I think that it's finding what that story is and how do we deliver it that, one, the members have time to read it and that they're going to get a lot out of it. So, and we see it all over the place. We see it online. We see it with B2B publications. We also see it with, our business-to-consumer publications as well.
Yeah. So in other words, what I hear from you is it's not that storytelling has changed. It still has to be a good story. It's just the vehicles in which the stories are being told. So what are some?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the best practices you're seeing out in the marketplace that do actually move the meter? Are there any things that you'd like, some best things that people can do?
I think that if you can educate and you can solve the problem for people, look at online, even on CNN, you'll see some sponsored content there. On Yahoo's homepage, you'll find sponsored content there. And a lot of times it might be 5 tips to really ensure you have a good portfolio for your retirement years. And that might be sponsored by LendingTree. So LendingTree, what they did is provided a service, some education. These are best practices for you to do moving closer to retirement. So now someone reads that and they might think like, you know what, I'm going to give LendingTree a call or fill out a form where they're going to send me some information. Same thing in this industry. How do you educate the buyers, the end buyers or distributors with the best uses for your products? I could tell you, go back to that coffee mug. It's a coffee mug. It's got a C handle. It's got a right hand imprint, which some people don't know what that is. And it comes in 5 different colors. Okay, that's great. It's a coffee mug. I made it a commodity. But if I can tell you, here's a coffee mug, and these are the ways that we can use it. And these are the programs it fits into, and these are the demographic it fits into, and these are the reasons why it works. If you're providing something that's of use to, as a supplier, if you're providing something of use to a distributor, the distributor says, you know what, that makes sense. And then you might call that supplier, and then that dialogue is started. Yeah. So I think that it's informative, but it's also educating, and it's solving those problems. And I think that's one of the things that I try to do on the Joe Show. Like, I could show you that coffee mug, and it comes in red, white, and blue, but you're watching it, you like the mug, but your client needs green. But if I say red, white, and blue, it's like, well, forget it about it. But if I don't mention the colors and I mention some solutions for this coffee mug, it's like, well, you got to call up and say, does it come in green? And if you call that supplier, then what happens? If it doesn't come in green, at least the dialogue has started. And then we can move either to another product or, something that's going to work out better. But it's, it's providing the solutions, which I try to do, again, with the Joe Show. So you can do that with your e-newsletters to your clients. You can do that with your Facebook posts to your clients. You can do that with your videos that you send. And you had said earlier that we're all media companies now, which is true. And we have a little TV studio in our cell phones. Everyone's got a smartphone. They all come with HD cameras. The audio is pretty good. You have it right there. There's no reason why more distributors shouldn't be using their phones and posting videos. You go to a trade show, you find something great, you're working with the client, and you haven't been able to find a product for their next campaign. You see it at the trade show. You can sit there, shoot a short little video. You can text it to them. You can send it in an email to them. And then they're going to get it right away. And now, instead of having to wait a week until you come back or to get that sample from the supplier, you've been in front of them within 1 minute of finding that product. Or maybe you want to go into that pet market that I talked about earlier. You find 5 products, you shoot a little video, you find all the people in the pet industry in a 50-mile radius, and then you can send them this email blast that says, you know what, I'm an expert for marketing in the pet industry. I can put your logo on these products. We're going to have a great way to deliver them that's going to put you in front of all your competitors, and, this is how I can help you. And it's right there in that cell phone, right there. And I think more people should be using that, and, hopefully we're going to see some of that happening.
Cool, man. That's great stuff. I appreciate you taking the time, Joe. You've answered my 3 questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
I do. So we're rocking towards the end of this year, and one of the things I want to know, because you push out so much content. You know, your weekly word is fantastic. That's a motivational type thing. Something we're talking about. That will drive the meter too. Why do people click on that? Because they want to see that word. It's going to motivate them, and it's going to cause them to do something positive. You also do your he said she says. So you have a lot of great content you're pushing out. So my thing is, moving into 2017, what are the things that distributors aren't doing that they need to be doing next year in 2017? And what are the things that they're currently doing now in 2016 that they just need to stop doing?
Man, that's a good question.
All right.
Okay, so I would say that they're not doing that they should be doing. I would say, and I'm painting with a broad brush because there are some people in our industry who are creating content on a regular basis. Obviously, I believe in it, like you just said.
Yes.
I think in 2017, our people in our industries, the professionals who want to raise their game, they need to start creating content. And if they don't feel super comfortable creating content, then they at least need to be cognizant and curate content. Pick the stuff from our industry that really is relevant to their audience, and be intentional about curating. So curating and creating content helps to set you aside as an expert in today's economy. And then to stop, I think two things. One's a pet peeve. Like, one is stop lamenting how it used to be, because it's not anymore. It makes you sound like the old man standing on his front yard, waving his fist, telling people to get off your lawn. It's just stop it. And number 2, stop selling so hard through your content. And what I mean by that is, I'm curious to hear your opinion, but I think the best content is stuff that educates. I think you sort of talked about that in the last thing. Right. If you educate properly through your content, then the people will call. I think what most people do on social media is they try and push. They try and sell. Well, the economy and the culture has changed. People can turn you off now. So you need to provide value. So stop selling so hard and start creating value. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and that's true, because a lot of the people that educate on social media say you can't have a hard sell. It does turn people off. Yeah. But again, if you solve that solution for them,
sure.
Solve that problem for them, they're going to pick up that phone and call you. They're going to send you that email and want information for what are the products and services that you offer that is going to help them. So I think that's true. And, as we're pushing out that content, we all hear about SEO, and the more original content that you have, hopefully that drives more traffic to your website. So, it's making that connection with people out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, I had a great time.
Awesome. We'll do it again sometime.
All right.
That wraps up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!